Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? This one is, well, it's pretty unique.
Definitely unique.
We're going to be taking a look at the creative journal of this Tasmanian artist, Karen Eastland.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of her work.
Yeah, she does a lot, songwriting, fiction writing, and mixed media, but it's not just what she's creating, it's how.
Yeah, how is she doing all of that?
That's the cool part, right? She's using all of these cutting-edge AI tools.
Oh, wow. See, and that's what I think is so interesting, just how these tools can be integrated into an artist's process.
Yeah, and it's not about AI taking over, which is, I think, what a lot of people think about.
Right, and she's not doing that at all. It's more of a collaboration, amplifying her own vision.
Exactly. So we're going to see how she's actually using these tools like ChatGPT, anything LLM.
I've heard of ChatGPT, but anything LLM, no.
What's that? We're going to get into it, and even AI for music production.
Okay, now that has me really curious.
I was skeptical at first too, but let me tell you, some of the things she's doing are pretty mind-blowing.
You and me both.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does make you kind of rethink how we see the role of technology in art.
For sure. Okay, let's start with ChatGPT. Most people have at least heard of it by now. This powerful language model from OpenAI.
Right. It generates text, basically.
But Karen's taken it to a whole new level. She's calling hers Soul.
Soul.
Yes, Soul. And get this, she uses it as a personalized editor for her fiction.
Whoa, okay, so it's like having a personal AI editor on call all the time.
Pretty much. And there's this one part in her journal where she's going back and forth with Soul, like literally having a debate about using profanity and violence in her novels.
No way. Wait, what? That's amazing. I mean, I've never thought about using AI for that kind of feedback.
Right. It's like being a fly on the wall in a writer's room.
Yeah.
She even mentions specific works like her Sin Eater and Josephine and Jason series where she's really pushing the boundaries.
Okay, that makes sense. Those themes definitely fit with those types of discussions.
And this is what I think is key. It shows that she's not just letting the AI call the shots. She knows what she wants, and she's guiding Saul to help her achieve it.
Yeah, I mean, she's the artist, right? She has to stay in control.
Exactly. And you can see that even more when we get to how she's using AI to manage, well, her entire creative universe. She's using a combination of anything LLM.
That was the one I hadn't heard of.
Right. It's a platform that lets you build your own custom AI tools. And then she's combined that with Llama, which is open source for running large language models.
Okay, so pretty techie stuff.
It is. But the end result is pretty amazing. She's basically created a searchable database of all her work.
All of it.
Drafts, character bios, world building notes, all of it.
Wow. I mean, think about it. If you're a writer, that's a game changer.
No more digging through old files trying to remember that one detail from a story you wrote years ago. And I think this is one of the things that makes Karen such a pioneer. This kind of AI use is still pretty new.
Absolutely. She's really on the cutting edge of this stuff.
She is. And it's not just about organization. Take her songwriting process, for example. This is where it gets really wild. She's using Udio, LoudMe, Suno AI.
Okay, slow down. That's a lot of AI.
It is, and each one does something different. Udio is all about the lyrics.
Okay, so kind of like an AI lyric editor?
Kind of, and then she takes those refined lyrics and uses LoudMe and Suno AI for the music.
Hold on, those are both for music production, right?
They are, and they're quite different platforms, actually.
So it's like she's experimenting with different approaches, seeing what works best for her.
And then, to top it all off, she's using Ideogram AI to generate album art.
Okay, now that's just showing off. It's like she has this whole AI-powered creative ecosystem.
It's pretty incredible. But here's the thing, and this is what's so important to remember. It's still Karen making the artistic decisions. The AI is a tool, a collaborator, but her vision is what's driving it all.
I mean, that's the human element, right? That's what makes it art and not just some algorithm spitting out content.
Exactly.
That's what keeps me from getting too freaked out about AI. It's not about being replaced. It's about finding these new ways to express yourself.
100%. And that actually brings us to a really interesting point because Karen is very aware of this debate about AI and creativity.
Oh, of course, it's a huge topic. Does AI threaten human artistry? Is it a fad?
Exactly.
It sounds like she's got some thoughts on that.
She does. And to find out what those are, you'll have to join us for part 2 of our deep dive into Karen Eastland's creative journal.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Still diving deep into Karen Eastland's journal.
Yeah, where we're basically discovering that AI can be like the ultimate creative partner, really.
And in this part, I think it'd be cool to go beyond, the how she's doing it.
Yeah, the nuts and bolts.
And get into the why and like what impact it has on her actual art.
Well, and that's kind of the big question, right? I mean, we talked about her using it for editing, music, all this stuff, but does it actually lead to better, more interesting art?
Exactly. Because anyone can learn to use a tool, but it's got to have that artistic vision behind it.
Absolutely. And with Karen, it does.
Yeah, and that's where her story gets really interesting. She's not just like pumping out content. There's a volume and a variety of work she's doing that's just, it's remarkable.
It really is. Remember how she talked about having like months of music already lined up for Cassidy and the Castos?
Yeah, her band, right. That was wild.
It makes you think AI isn't just saving her time, it's like unlocking a whole new level of creative output.
Like she's bypassing all the roadblocks that can get in the way.
And it makes you wonder, is this the future? Will AI become so normal that artists can just focus on, pure creation?
That's the dream, right?
But let's not forget, it's still a two-way street. Karen's not just like feeding data into these systems. She's shaping them, teaching them.
That back and forth with her ChatGPT editor, Saul, about the profanity. Remember that?
Yeah. It just shows how important it is for the artist to have control, to be able to push back.
It's like a painter picking a specific brush or something.
Exactly. The tools don't make the art. They just give you new ways to do it.
And that's the magic of this whole thing, right? It's not replacing human talent. It's amplifying it.
Giving artists this massive toolkit to play with. So it's not just about speed or anything. It's about opening up those creative possibilities.
And as we keep reading her journal, you see how this evolves for her. It's like she and these AI tools are developing a shorthand.
A creative language.
Exactly. She's figuring out their quirks, their strengths, really pushing them to their limits.
It's like any great collaboration, right?
Yeah.
You got to learn to work together.
And I think that's what makes this so inspiring. Anyone who's kind of curious about AI, but maybe a little intimidated,
Oh, for sure.
Karen shows you don't have to be like a tech genius to use this stuff.
It's about that curiosity and willingness to learn.
And the great thing is, these tools are getting easier to use all the time. More people can jump in and experiment.
It's a good time to be an artist, that's for sure. But I do wonder, with all this tech, are we risking losing that human element in art?
Oh, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is AI a threat to human creativity or a way to boost it?
And it's a debate that's only going to get bigger.
And Karen actually wrestles with that in her journal. The ethical stuff,
Yeah.
The need for artists to be really thoughtful about how they're using these tools.
Not just blindly jumping on the bandwagon.
Right. Asking the tough questions. How are we integrating this into our art and our lives?
It's complicated, but I think Karen gives us some good guidance.
Definitely. Open to the possibilities, but grounded in her values.
I think this is a good spot to pause for a sec. Because, we've been getting deep into the tech. But at the end of the day, art is about connection, right?
Sharing stories, emotions. That's what makes it matter.
And no algorithm can replace that.
Exactly.
Welcome back, everyone. It's really been something spending time with Karen Eastland, like in her creative world,
Yeah, it's like a whole different perspective, seeing how not just using AI, but really taking it to like another level creatively.
It really is. And for me, it's how she manages to keep that human element in everything she does.
It's that balance, right? Because you've got these amazing tools that can, do so much, automate things, even give you ideas.
It still comes down to the artist, right? Their vision, their experiences. That's where the real meaning comes from.
Absolutely. And she does such a good job of keeping that in mind, even with, like, remember Udio
Yeah.
for the song lyrics?
Yeah.
She could just let the AI take over, basically rewrite everything, but she doesn't.
She uses it more as a partner.
A sounding board.
Yeah, exactly. To try out different things, polish it up, but it's still her voice,
It's like she's saying, okay, AI, you can help me with this, but this is my story.
And that's so important, I think, especially as this technology gets more powerful.
Oh, for sure. We can't just hand over everything to the algorithms.
Because then it's not really art anymore, is it? It's losing that human connection.
It becomes more about the tech than the actual message, the emotion.
And that's what gets me so excited about Karen's work. She gets that. And it goes beyond just art, really.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Think about, I don't know, the workplace.
AI is changing everything.
But we have to make sure we're using it to, like, empower ourselves, not replace ourselves, if that makes sense.
It does. We have to adapt, learn new skills, find those ways to use technology to our advantage, but not lose sight of, what makes us human.
Our creativity, our problem solving, those things AI can't replicate.
Yet. But we also got to be talking about the ethical side of all this.
Oh, for sure. Big questions about responsibility, making sure it's used for good.
It's a lot to think about, but I think Karen's approach, it gives us a good starting point at least. Open to the possibilities, but with her own values guiding her.
A pioneer, that's what she is.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive into Karen Eastland's creative journal, well, here's something I want everyone listening to consider. How can you embrace AI and stay true to yourself at the same time?
To your own creativity, your own vision.
It's a big question as we move into this future with, well, honestly, with so much uncertainty.
That's so much potential, too.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and we'll catch you next time.